make this clear. Kind and nice is two different things. But sometimes it's like when you are helping somebody or you're doing something for somebody, and people like us, like when it comes down to having like a good heart, and sometimes, we could be like brought up, and I know I was like, it was like I were brought up where it seemed like we couldn't say no. Like if you was to say no, it's like you're a bad person, or like no one was teaching us to have like boundaries, and like it's okay to say like I'm really not really comfortable with that. Um or no, I'm not gonna be able to do that. I have a lot of stuff going on right now, so I just can't do it. Cause sometimes it's like, if for like, say for example, you outside, right, and then somebody come up to you like, oh, can I get 20? Can you give me $20? I really need it because of X, Y, and Z. And say you got $40 on you, but you know what, you feel for that person, so you like, all right, bet here, so you just get a person the $20. And then after a while, you start to realize that certain types of people, they start to come back around you and they keep on asking, can I get some more money? Can I get some more money? Can I get some? And it's like, now it's just like, okay, it's not about, you know, because I've given you this, now you owe me that. But at the same time, it's just like, don't keep on asking you for something, because at the end of the day, I can't pour, excuse me, from an empty cup. You understand what I'm trying to say? Like, at times, I want to make sure that if I need $20, right? If I need something, that I can also come back to that, say, hey, you know what? Now I need $20 now, right? If I feel like I'm always the one that's reaching out and having an open hand, more than likely that's like me feeling like I'm going to be used. And I feel like nobody in their right mind want to be used. So it's okay to be kind. That does not mean that you are a pick me or anything like that, because they use that word pick me or pick me, stuff like that or whatever. But the point is that if you are going to help somebody out, it's okay to do that. Like, if you don't know if you should or not, and I, even saying this, even to myself too, it's something that I do. I just pray a lot, because a lot of times when I pray to the Most High Jehovah, He'll tell me, if I should help somebody now, or He'll place it in my heart, or I may, get signs around so that I would know, to if I should help somebody or not. Let's say if he said, hey, help out David, but only give David $30, right? Don't give him anything less, don't give him anything more, just give him only strictly $30 and that's it. Right? So that's something that you can ask the Most High and He can like let you know. But majority of the time, if you know that you don't really, you got to take care of yourself first, right? Like, how much you have, so okay, I can go do this, but I'm not gonna be able to do that. And it's okay to say no, because a lot of times the person may make you feel like, oh, you bogus, you said no, but it's like you can't help somebody else out if you still taking care of you. Certain people, they just around to steal, to take from you, because they just want to just use you up. It's okay to be able to say no, I can't. We ain't gonna be able to do all of that. I'm not gonna be able to. No, the answer is no. And if that person want to get mad, then no will. Remove your presence or block that person, or don't be around that person if you can, because some people, they'll go to the most craziest limits to get a reaction, or they'll try to get all mad and, be puffed up because you told them no. But sometimes you're going to have to tell them no. You can't always tell them yes because, or say yes, because if you do, then, like I said, they're going to just use you like a revolving door. You got to open the door all the time. You got to use that, right? It's like they just use you because it's convenient for them. Of course, they're going to play that role and make it seem like that's not the case. You got to put yourself in somebody else's perspective. I always say that if I want to look at things from different angles, I have to, think like how the other person would think. You understand what I'm trying to say? Because sometimes you're thinking about just how you think. Oh, I wouldn't do somebody like that. And maybe you wouldn't, or maybe you would. But majority of the time, regardless if you wouldn't or you wouldn't, you would or you wouldn't, um, you gotta realize that everybody don't have a good heart. Everybody don't have, that understanding. Everybody don't care about what somebody else is going through. So you can't assume because you may every now and then, feel for somebody. That doesn't mean that somebody's going to do that for you. So it's just like, if you realize that you always giving to somebody else and that person always using you, stop. Stop giving to them. Say no sometimes. You know, let them know that, you just can't do it. You understand what I'm trying to say? Because I feel like it's a lot of stuff that's going on and stuff like that around here, and it's not okay at the end of the day. You understand what I'm trying to say? It's not okay, but at the same time, it's just like you don't want to have somebody just using you because they don't care about you. It's just like using you to get what they want. And then after that, they just discourage you like you don't matter. And then whenever you need a listening ear, whenever you need something from somebody, they ain't gonna be there for you. You see what I'm saying? Because they was just using you because they had hidden motive, or and sometimes they're not going to tell you, but when they get mad at us, then that's when they'll, they'll probably say, that's why I was using you anyways. It's like it's like the real them come out then because they gotta put on this, this spiritual mask, so to speak, because the goal is to get something out of you, regardless of it could be anything. It doesn't have to always be financial, but like again, put it within your perspective, right? Like let yourself like regardless of whatever it is, you would know. You understand what I'm gonna say, but I'm saying like it could be anything in many forms, but that's what people be doing a lot of times. They try to use people and play with them and stuff like that, and then they'll manipulate them and make them feel like, oh, that's not the case, or that's not what I'm doing, and X, Y, and Z, or whatever have you. And it's like it is the case though. So, I feel like with that being said, like certain people, they just got their own problems, and like remember that you can't always save somebody. Sometimes people are going through something because that could be a part of their inventions. Life do be life sometimes, so not always. But I'm like, you can't always, wear the little cap hero and just like save the day or something like that. Like you understand what I'm trying to say? Like you're not gonna be able to do that all the time. You will have to be like, say, look, I really can't do it right now. I got other stuff going on right now. I'm just not going to be able to. So at least they could be able to realize, okay, I can't just go to this person all the time because if you keep on giving them something, more than likely in their mind, they're going to say, I could just keep on doing this and keep on saying this, and I'm going to be able to keep on going back to use this person. You understand what I'm saying? So, just something to think about and to realize that again it's okay to be a kind person, but just have like strong boundaries, and if somebody does not like it, more than likely that's your sign that that's not the person or that's not the group or that's not whoever individual for you, because you don't want to have somebody using you and taking advantage of you and playing in your face, making it seem like it's all good and dandy, but it's not. you know it's only for their benefit. They get something out of it of when they use you, and like I said, it doesn't have to be financial gain. Only what somebody is using you for, what somebody is trying to. So, today, just say no sometimes. It's okay to say, I cannot do that right now, or I got other things I have to, take care of right now. I'm just not going to be able to. Just say no, and it will free you, because you don't want to be a people pleaser. You don't want to just be a pushover. You don't want somebody to think that, you're just some dummy and they could just take advantage of you and just do whatever they want because that's just what you're accepting. You are control of your reality, right? It's like think of it like a TV and you have the remote. You can control it. You can do this, you can go do that, right? Don't allow somebody else to take the remote and then do whatever they want to do because again, it's your life and it's your responsibility to take care of you first. Then you can go take care of somebody else.